Hello and welcome to another video. So today's video is going to be absolutely huge. I've been excited to make this video for some time now because in this video I'm going to be going over my seasonal niche plans for 2023. So I'm going to be covering all the types of books and niches that I'm going to be publishing throughout 2023 and why I'm going after more seasonal niches next year and planning for them well in advance. Also in this video, I'm going to be showing you the next book that I am working on in the early education niche, and over the upcoming days I'm going to be creating videos on that book, kind of documenting everything that I'm doing with it so that you can continue to watch how I'm growing my publishing business with each book that I create, so you can actually see the books that I am creating and what I'm doing. Also going to be taking a look at my very first children's storybook illustration. I've been pretty excited to start this project. I'm excited to share the start of it with you, and the image that I've hired someone to create is pretty funny, so I hope that you'll stick around to the end of the video to witness that. And in fact, I'm excited to share all of this with you as I'm going to be showing off as many books as I can throughout the course of next year and how I've been creating those. I've had some really fantastic feedback on the books that I've shown off lately, the videos that I've done on the word search, for example, and I'm going to touch upon how they are performing and tie them into this video as well. So make sure you watch all of this video because I got something else that's extremely exciting that I'm going to be sharing with you toward the end. So stick with this if you can. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Chris. I've been self-publishing through Amazon for around 10 years. I'm here to share that experience with you. So let's get right into this. Why am I planning out my seasonal niches now for next year? And the simple reason is because there are so many different types of seasonal niches that you can hit that you can pretty much fill most of the year with seasonal niches. And just to clarify, I'm going to be pursuing evergreen niches and books as well, but this video is going to be mostly dedicated to seasonal ones and my plan for that. So I'm going to show you what I mean in just a second, and this should be obvious, but during certain periods of the year, you're going to get massive sales spikes if you have books that are relevant to those periods, right? That should be pretty obvious, but what I'm going to do in this video is share how I plan to actually fill the entirety of next year with those type of books. So I'm just going to start off by using the last book that I published as an example, which is the Christmas word search book for adults, which is this book here. Now obviously that is a seasonal book. So this is the first book in the series of the kind of seasonal niches that I'm creating books for. So this is Christmas. Obviously it's going to make money this Christmas. It's now in profit. I think it's ranked around 50 or 60,000 at the moment. If I just scroll down and just double check that, we're ranked at 65,000 at the moment, so we're in profit with this book now. And you know, I think it's had maybe just under 100 sales, but my focus here is going to be for the next Christmases as well. Okay, so I know that sounds a bit crazy to think that far ahead, but hear me out here, and I'm just going to use another book as an example to show off why this is so powerful. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just pick on some random person's book from last year. Okay, so the reviews aren't that good. 4.2 is not that good. 831,000 isn't that good either at the moment. But what I'm going to do is check the historic sales data to see if this is dipping, if this dipped in sales last year towards Christmas. So what I'm going to do here is check the historic data for this book to see if it spiked in sales during Christmas last year. So you don't need any of this software here. This is just BuyBot Pro. It's something I used for Amazon FBA. But what we can see here is just checking the historic data is that it gets down last year anywhere as close as around 20,000. I think it gets toward here. And that's pretty good. So during this period here, they're going to be making some decent money. And obviously throughout the rest of the year, they don't make anything from it. But once we get, as you can see, as we get toward Q4 here, the BSR start dropping again. And I expect they're going to sort of start seeing this type of BSR this year as well in maybe a week or two from now. So this is what I want to happen with all the seasonal niches. I want to kind of cover all these periods that the books are within. Okay, so for example, we're going to have the Christmas one, which is going to cover here, and then we're going to have books throughout the rest of the year where we're going to get all these nice dips of sales throughout the course of the year. Okay, so before we move on and take a look at the entire seasonal niche plan that I sort of mapped out here, I want to go ahead and use one of my other books that I created as an example. So I don't know if you followed me during the creation of my addition and subtraction workbook. I think this was 3 months ago now. I created this book, and we can do a little bit of an update here. So we've got 12 reviews on it. It's looking pretty strong. Now I'm just going to check the BSR at the moment. So we're looking at around 257,000 at the moment. Okay, so this book has had, I think, 260 sales since it was released. But what we can see is that it was doing pretty well, really well for quite a long time. And then as we sort of approached October, Q4, it started just sort of spiking up and down, going all over the place. So it's still making sales, but not quite as strong as when it was during this period here between August and September, okay? So what I'm going to expect to happen next year is that we start going back and seeing these type of sales during August. Earlier than August, probably around July, March sort of time. We're going to see these type of BSRs again up until this point, okay? So that's a big section of the year that we can sort of cover by creating these kind of early education books. So the next book that I'm creating, the one that I'm working on at the moment, the one that I'm going to show off in just a minute after my niche plan, is another early education book. So again, we're going to try and to sort of cover this portion of the year with the early education books. But before we get onto that, I just want to share my entire niche plan with you. Okay, so let's go into Canva and just take a look at my niche plan for 2023, okay? So we're going to be starting in December because that's when I'm going to be uploading the next few books. So the next one that I'm going to be working on is my time telling workbook for kids. Now that's actually going to be uploaded in the next few days, not December. But we're going to come back to this because it's an extremely interesting niche that you might be interested in. And we're going to be showing off in just a moment me creating some of those type of books. Now the next one that I want to look into would be Valentine's Day books, okay? So for this one, I'm into the word search thing at the moment. I don't know why, it's just kind of interesting for me. So I'm going to be looking at doing a Valentine's Day word search. So again here, if we just come over, I'm not going to do this for every single book because you're going to get the point in just a second. But what I'm going to check is books that currently aren't selling particularly well. So this one here, for example, has a ranking of 1.2 million, which is really bad. But obviously it's not Valentine's Day yet. It's not close enough to Christmas to make this type of book sell either, I don't think. But what I want to do is just check the last 1,000 days here. We have data for the BSRs for this book here. We want to see, this is just how I confirm that these seasonal niches are worth going after, okay? So I'll take a look at books that aren't selling now, but, you know, sell really, really well during the season that they're involved in, okay? So as we can see here, January and February, we're going to get these dips, okay? So dip here, dip here, dip here, and we're going to get a dip here as well as we approach Q4 for this type of book, okay? So this is exactly what we want to see. We want to start filling out these gaps throughout the year, okay? So that's obviously going to be, you know, I would imagine this would be between sort of November and, you know, middle of, well, you know, the start of February, actually. I think I can't remember when Valentine's Day is, but that's going to cover quite a few months, maybe 2 or 3 months, I think these type of books will cover. So that's great. We're going to be doing a book for that. And like I say, when it comes to me creating these books, you know, I'm not just saying it for the sake of creating these videos. I would like to actually start showing off more of these as well, okay? So moving on from there, I'm going to be looking at creating a Valentine's Day storybook. Now, this is a kind of a weird one, but they do seem to sell quite well. I didn't know, like, Valentine's Day for kids was a thing, but there's like Valentine's Day for kids coloring books. I don't know why that's a thing. I certainly wouldn't, you know, give my kid a Valentine's Day coloring book, but maybe it's different in the States. But yeah, that's a bit weird for me. But I'll be interested in creating, you know, a Valentine's Day storybook or something like that. You know, this list is something that you would take with a pinch of salt because I'm not going to be able to do every single book on here, but a storybook, you know, some type of storybook, 2 or 3 for next year is something that I'm definitely interested in doing, and definitely interested in showcasing to you, because I know a lot of people are interested in creating these type of books. I really want to make them work, not just for my sake, but so that you can see how to create them as well. And like I say, at the end of the video, I'm just going to sort of show off a fun little test that I did with an illustrator who's created an image for a storybook that I was kind of just playing around with, basically. So let's move on to January. We're going to be taking a look at spring coloring books. I'm going to add that to the brand that I'm working with. Now, I'm super close to showing that off because you know, those books are selling incredibly well at the moment. It's something that I would like to kind of include in a bigger project, but yeah, a spring coloring book is what I'd like to add to those 3 books that I currently have up at the moment. I've just added a Christmas coloring book to it, but a spring one would be fantastic as well. And on top of this, a separate pen name here, separate brand, I guess you can call it. I'll be doing looking for sort of Mother's Day niches, and I think like a word search for mothers was quite a good one that I checked out earlier. So again, just really quickly, I'm going to take a look at a book that you know, it's independently published. It's been live for a while, but isn't selling that well now. It looks okay. I don't think it's great, but we want to check back to see if it was sort of selling well, if it sort of dips during these periods. And as we can see, we have a nice dip here and we have a nice dip here again. So that's another part of the year that we can fill out with another book. And I know what some people are thinking, like, aren't these niches all saturated? And it's time to stop worrying about that, because that whole saturation thing is the biggest thing that's going to hold you back thinking that way. And all these books that I'm publishing that I'm showing off to you, how I'm creating them, how I'm marketing them, the Christmas word search, the math workbook, the Halloween notebooks. Have I shown them off yet? But Halloween notebooks, they're all very competitive. Like all these big niches, there's all these niches that have traffic going to them. They're all competitive. But when we do things in a certain way, and I think you can see now from the books that I'm showing off, is that we don't really have to worry about the competition. We have to worry about other good books and competing with them, okay? But like I say, the point is here, we're going to be filling out the year with these kind of seasonal niches so that we can get these nice dips here, okay? So again, like I say, I'm not going to do this historic data thing for every single one. It's going to get boring as hell for you to listen to. But yeah, the next one, February, I really want to have the children's storybook done. I know it's not a seasonal thing, but I'm feeling super passionate and driven to create this book. Like I say, you'll see the design from the illustrator that I'm going to be using. And honestly, if you have feedback, like I think the image is quite funny. I think it looks well drawn or well illustrated. I think it looks really funny. But if you had feedback on it, you think it's bad, let me know in the comments, and I'll probably reassess, because it's a new area for me as well. Okay, so moving forward into March, we're going to take a look at a prompted Father's Day book. I've spelled prompted wrong here, but a prompted Father's Day book. I'll just give you an example of what those type of books are. So yeah, kind of like these father-son fill-in-the-blank journals. And actually, it's kind of strange, because I've really gone off like creating low content books like this, but in seasonal niches like these ones where I think I can create something really good, I'd certainly be interested. And again, let's just quickly, I know this is boring, but let's quickly, this is all over the place, but yeah, it does dip during certain periods. I don't actually know when Father's Day is in the US, but let's check this one here and make an educated guess. So again, it's not selling well at the moment. It's not got many reviews. It's been out for 575 days. But it starts dropping during this period here. So I guess it's Father's Day in June. I assume it's around that time, because that's when it starts dying off. But yeah, I wrote that down for a reason, and that's probably something that I'm going to be doing next year as well. April, May and June, I actually don't think I'm going to publish anything. What I want to do is gather up my money, save the money, and then start investing into Q4, which would be starting around July for me. So preparing for it. I was a little bit late doing it this year. I've certainly capitalized on it quite well with a few books, especially coloring books and the Christmas word search, going extremely well. The income this month is looking very nice. So yeah, July, want to hit the sort of Halloween things for October. So I'm going to be doing a Halloween coloring book and a Halloween activity book as well. So I'm not going to keep showing you the historic data. You obviously know when Halloween books are going to start dipping. August, I'm going to start hitting Christmas specific books really hard. So coloring books and activity books. And then also, I didn't know, call me dumb, obviously. Didn't know that Thanksgiving coloring books were that big a deal, but apparently they are. But yeah, that's going to be sort of August time. So September is when I'm going to be looking at creating or have made a Christmas storybook for kids. So these are extremely popular, and the illustration that I've had made that I'm going to show off at the end of this video does have a Christmas theme to it. It's a very weird picture, but I think you're going to find it pretty amusing. And then in October, I'm going to start pushing ads for rankings to try and get the books ranked higher, obviously. And then in November, when this the ad spend starts going crazy, you really need to monitor what's going on. And then of course in December as well, make sure that you monitor your ad spend, because it will go absolutely crazy, and there seems to be no reason for it. Like sometimes you try and put a cap on your ads. I don't know if anyone else has found this. You try and cap your ad spend to a certain bid, and it goes well over that no matter what you do. So you have to be really careful during these periods. So that's just a brief outline. The point is that these aren't niche reveals. They're not, this is nothing hidden. You've seen all these niches before. But the point is to try and fill out the year with these seasonal niches so that we get those dips throughout the course of the year. Okay, so this is probably going to change over time for me, but I just wanted to template this for you and show you what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so let's just rewind this now all the way back to present, what we're doing for the next book, which is going to be the time telling workbook for kids. Okay, so this is the book that I'm working on now. It's going to be the next book that I'm publishing. And it's also going to be the next book that I'm going to be showing off to you as well. So time-telling books or reading time books for kids is kind of an interesting niche, and it's pretty exciting for me because if you look this up on Amazon, there's really not that much competition. And the reason that there's not much competition is because the books they're hard to create, basically. Okay, so if we just go over to Canva now, I'm going to show you what I'm creating in this niche and what I'm going to be publishing in the upcoming days and showing off to you all. So if we just go over to Canva, and you can see at the moment I'm currently still working on this. I'm going to work over the next course of the day or so on tidying this book up and adding some more graphics to it, just so it looks a lot more appealing. So I've been working on this book for just a few days now, but it's going to have around 120 pages in it. Now, I'm not finished with it yet. I don't think it's ready to be published. I don't want to just rush it out there for the sake of it, but it's going to have 120 pages, and I want to give it its best chance of selling as possible. So I'm going to be playing around a little bit more with the interior for this book to make it look as nice as possible. But like I say, there's 120 pages of these the time reading problems here that the child has to solve. So this would be a case of the parent and the child sit down together, and they have a variety of different time telling problems that they can solve. Okay, so for this one, for example, it would be a case of the child would have to look at the clock and then shade in the appropriate answer below. Okay, so pretty straightforward for adults, obviously. So yeah, throughout the book we'll be looking at sort of hours, half past, we're going to go into quarter past, and then 5 minutes, and then 1 minute 1 minute problems as well. And we've got like a variety of each of these just to make sure that our book is packed with different types of problems for the child to solve. We want to give as much value as possible to the people buying this. And like I said, it would be to have 120 pages to create that yourself. I think it would be not impossible, but it'd be extremely hard, and that's probably why there's not many books like this on Amazon at the moment. And just to clarify quickly, if you ever read anything like this on screen where it says draw the correct time onto the clock face, and that is not the type of equation, I'm basically just put these in as like placeholders, and I'm going to go back and change them. You'll see everything once the book is released, basically. So regarding the software that I've been using here, I've been fortunate enough to be given beta access to test this out and create a few books with and see what my audience think of it. So this app is called Time Worksheet Generator. It's not out yet. It's not been released at the time of recording this video. It's going to be released on the 11th of November. So in the upcoming days, I'm going to be kind of documenting the creation of this book using the app so that you can follow along too. And in the next video, I'm going to look at, hopefully, the book might not be released, but we're going to take a deeper look into creating these type of books. And then hopefully when I can, I'm going to be showing off the live listing for this book and other ways that you can use app to create unique books within this niche as well. So let's take a sort of sneak preview inside this app itself, the app I've been using to create these pages that you can see here. So I'm going to be doing a full review for this app that we're in now, which is called Time Worksheet Generator, which is going to be on the 11th. Okay, so the full review, if you're interested in this type of software, if you're interested in early education, the full review for this software will be out on the 11th. Okay, but we're just going to take a quick look at a few things that this can do for you right now. So obviously with software like this, the greatest appeal here is that it can literally allow you to enter into niches that you typically wouldn't be able to. So when using software like it, you'll be able to create the pages pretty quickly. But you can see what I've been doing here. I've been generating the pages inside of the software and then taking them over to Canva to try to kind of pimp them out. So this is the part of it that actually takes a little bit of time. So the software itself can generate these very quickly. I'll do a demonstration in just a second, but when it comes to actually adding some uniqueness to your interior, then I would always recommend that you take it over to somewhere where you can actually edit around with it and make it look much nicer. So like I say, I will give you a quick demonstration in just a second as to how these images are generated. But as you can see here, I've created, I think maybe this would have taken around half an hour to produce 120 unique pages within this niche. And if we just scroll to the very bottom, just so I don't mess up what I'm working with here, I'm going to create a new page here, just very quickly showcase this to you. And it's the same with all these type of apps. Like you have a tremendous amount of variety, and in this one you can filter out all different types of things. And like I say, when it comes to the review, I'm going to get into this into a little bit more detail, but let's just do a couple examples here just so you can see. So if you wanted to create on the hour problems, then you can come across and just filter those ones out here. Now what that's going to do is when it comes to the different styles of clocks, it's going to make sure that they are all on the hour when they generate. Okay, so let's just pick one for example here. Let's just use this one. And as you can see, they're all going to be on different hours here, okay, as we filtered out. Now, I'm not going to get into too much here because I'm not going to get into too much detail because there are so many different settings that you can change and play around with. It's going to be much more suitable for a full review on this product. So like I say, that's coming out on the 11th, but this is the type of thing that it can do for you. It can quickly generate these type of pages. And like I say, with these type of software, there is a lot of flexibility that you can have here. So if you wanted to regenerate some of the clocks, for example, you could right click and just regenerate the individual clocks, or you could go ahead and regenerate all of them and it's going to produce them very quickly. Now, of course, at the end of it all, it's going to have the solutions that it generates as well. Again, going to get into that in the full review, but there's plenty on offer here, but I just wanted to quickly showcase the app for you. So it's all good and well having an app that can create these pages for you. But listen, like using software to help you create books is great. It's fine. Like this one is fantastic as well. But it's not a case of you can't just rely on software to make you sales. Like no matter what the sales pages are saying for these type of products, no matter what other people say this product can do for you, the books that you create in them, they're never just going to sell themselves just because you have a piece of software. Okay, so what the software is allowing us to do is to enter into a new niche. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and gas it up and say that if you start using the software you're just going to make bank all of a sudden, because that's never been the case. Okay, we need to sell the product no matter what it is. So for example, we have the word search here. Like I use software to create this. I used the software, but I had to sell it. The other example was my math workbook. I used the software to create it, but I had to sell it. Okay, so it's going to be the same for this book here that I'm creating. We're using the software to create it, but I'm going to be the one that has to actually sell it. Okay, so with that in mind, that's going to give me the chance to offer you something that I think is extremely exciting. It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and this is going to give me the perfect opportunity to offer this to you. Okay, so typically when it comes to me offering a bonus for a product that you pick up through me, so anything that you bought from me before, you probably see that I like to do those kind of case studies, like the this one here, for example, the addition and subtraction workbook. I did a case study for that, and I got a lot of really good feedback for them. And the thing is though, I want to take this one step further, okay, and start getting people to actually start producing books that have a chance of selling, and do it in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming, so it's accessible by everyone. Okay, so what I'm going to be offering with this software, if you pick this up from me, is that I'm going to be doing an exclusive 7-day boot camp that's going to take you from having no book to a fully created book, using the book that I've created here as the kind of template, okay, the example. And since I'm going to be doing this through a Facebook group, you're going to get access to my thoughts and feedback much quicker, as well as being able to engage with other members of that group as well. So that's going to give you a lot more confidence when it comes to publishing your books. Okay, so with this bootcamp, we're going to make sure that you create some really awesome books that aren't just thoughtlessly thrown up onto Amazon. So if you've ever seen me show off these type of books, you'll know that I do take a very certain type of approach to getting these ranked and to make sure they have the best chance possible of selling. Okay, so that's what I plan to be doing inside of this bootcamp. Okay, so I'm going to get into more detail regarding everything that's going to go into that bootcamp, but it is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's extremely exciting, and I think this is really next level type of stuff when it comes to actually helping people make sales with books. Okay, so like I say, when the app launches on the 11th of November, if you pick this up through me, you're going to get access to that bootcamp for free. Now, after that launch is done, I will be putting a very, very hefty price onto my bootcamp. Okay, so I think if you decide to pick up this software, you're going to get an exceptional deal. We're going to start creating some really good books together. Okay, so that's just a quick look at the Time Generator worksheets. Now, like I say, in the upcoming days, we're going to be taking a look at a full review of this software on the 11th and what it can do for you. We're going to be talking about the exclusive bootcamp bonus that I'm unbelievably excited to offer for free if you pick this up through me. We're going to be looking at how we can use the app in different ways, all sorts of things going on with this, and also of course showing off the book that I've been creating that I've shown you in this video. Okay, so that's all coming out very soon, so make sure that you join me for those videos this week. So let's end this video, but I want to end this video, like I said, on the illustration that I had designed for me for a kind of fake kids book, and the reason that I had this made was I just wanted to, I've been testing out a few different illustrators because I want someone that I can work with in the long run, and I don't know, I think this could be the person that I kind of want to go with because I really like this, but I wanted your feedback on it. So feel free to give your feedback on the weird image that you're about to see here on the screen. So this is what he's come back with. Okay, so like I say, this isn't actually going into a book, it's just to see how he managed to cope with my interesting vision of Santa Claus. I think he's done a great job, but like I say, love to hear your feedback on this, and in future I hope that I can actually, I would love to be able to actually show off a fully illustrated a full kids, like a 32-page children's storybook. But yeah, this is going to be something that it's more of a passion project, but it can be something that is very lucrative, and I hope to be able to showcase this to you, toward the start of next year, hopefully. But yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions about anything else in this video, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the upcoming videos very soon.